Let's take a look at the chart action for Bitcoin. Okay, so here's what I've been looking at. We have resistance right here, we have support right here, and we have support right here. We had these trend lines, we had this top trend line right here, and then we had this bottom trend line like this. We actually broke this bottom trend line going to the downside, and we actually closed below it, but it does look like we're back above it right now. So I'm not really sure. I don't really like the way that we did break below it and we closed above it, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I think if we jump over the 4-hour time frame, this is like the main thing that I'm watching. We are above that trend line right now, this bottom support line, but I think we have resistance, 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 resistance. So let's do a downtrend, something like this. And until we break this downtrend going to the upside, then I'm assuming that it's going to give us trouble and push us down. But I think once we do break to the upside, maybe we have resistance right here and resistance right here. Let's do a trend line going like this. And I think if we break this trend line going to the upside, then we can maybe target this level at around 48,000. Like I said though, I don't really like the way we broke that trend line on the daily time frame, but if we delete everything on the daily time frame, this is another thing we've been watching. We have a 9 moving average, or we have the 9 moving average on the daily time frame coming in like this. And when it was over here, I was talking about how I wanted to come down and get a little bit closer to the price, so it'd be maybe a little bit easier to break through, maybe get a little bit more on the side of us rather than being straight up on top of us. And that's basically what it kind of looks like. It's getting a little bit closer, and it looks like we're more on the side of it, and it looks like we're getting that green candle, and it looks like we might be testing it. What I'm thinking is if we could break above this 9 moving average and stay above that, then what I'll be looking at is if we switch over the weekly time frame, we have this 9 moving average right here, and until we break this going to the upside, then it's potentially a bad thing that we're under it, and it's potentially going to give us resistance and push us to the downside. So I don't know, I really want to see us break above this weekly 9 moving average more than anything. Then I'll get way more bullish. But what I'm thinking is if we could break above this 9 moving average on the daily time frame, maybe that will lead to breaking it on the bigger time frame on the weekly. So yeah, I think the main thing I'm probably watching now though is we have resistance right here on the daily time frame, and then if we go into the 4-hour time frame, we also have this resistance going to the downside, something like this. And then we also have this one over here that's potentially our target if we break to the upside. So let's see if let's say we might break to the downside. It looks like we're kind of pushing to the downside a little bit. We've been looking at this previous support right here at around 41,000, and the other thing I was kind of looking at is we have this support right here, and we have this support right here. We broke that going to the downside, but let's do a trend line on this level right here. And what I'm thinking is if we keep this momentum going to the downside, or if we start breaking below it again, then we can target from the top to the bottom of this little channel that we were in that I thought was a W. But I thought it was, it's not a W technically until it breaks this spot right here going to the upside. So I was looking at it as kind of a W, and it still potentially is. If we could hold support right here and get a push to the upside, I think we're still potentially in that W pattern. But if we start breaking down and we start heading down more with some volume and start getting a big red candle, this is a target that I'll be looking at, that 41,000 support level, and a target maybe something like this at around 41.5k. So maybe maybe I'll be changing my limit order from 41 to 41.5 because of this kind of pattern right here. I'm not saying that it's definitely going to push down, but I think if we do start pushing down, this is the level that I'll be looking at. And like I said, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, when we start pushing up, like it looks like we're getting a little bit of momentum now and starting to push up a little bit, if we could break this trend line right here, the next level that I'll be looking at is 48,000, and then hopefully we could break that and start try to get to 51,000 somewhere up here at this top trend line on the daily time frame that we've been looking at for a while. And like I said, if we can form that W pattern, that might just be the beginning of the reversal, because a W pattern is actually a reversal pattern after a downtrend. So we have this downtrend like this, and then we have this kind of W pattern. If we can hold this support like I've been talking about, I really want to hold support here and push up, but we're going to have to wait and see if that actually happens, because right now we broke that downtrend, and I don't know, I just don't really like the way we did that. But I do like the way we are getting closer to, let's delete everything. I do like the way we are getting closer to this 9 moving average right here. like I've been talking about, this is one of the other things that I really like to watch is this 9 moving average. When we break these 9 moving averages, or these moving averages in general, it's usually a good signal, and usually we get like a nice little candle or something. I mean, right here we broke above it, got a nice little uptrend, and then we broke below it right here and got a little bit of resistance. So let's see what happens right now. Like I said, the main thing I'll probably be watching is if we zoom in a little bit, this 4-hour time frame, and take a look at the recent price action, we have this downtrend like this. Let's see, mainly I'm thinking until we break this downtrend going to the upside, that's going to give us problems. But I think once we do break this uptrend, if we could break this uptrend going up, then I think that will be it'll also probably be a nice little move. And like I said, we could probably target, the first level that I'll be looking at is probably like 48,000. Yeah, the first level I'll be looking at is like around 48,000. Let me know what you guys think though. All right, if you guys like Bitcoin, hit that thumbs up button. If you have any questions, check out my Discord. If you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon. If you're new to trading and want to learn how to do this, kind of looking at charts and reading the charts and stuff, check out this playlist right here. It's an intro into TradingView. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.